and here we grow. Welcome to Marriage with Joy, which is the most open discussion on the internet about the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant aspects of living in harmony with matrimony. Marriage with Joy unabashedly discusses the most interesting questions raised by listeners. Our informed and informative panel addresses issues with thought, wit, and aplomb. Voted best of the web 2 years running. Yay! We got a full team! Woo! Okay, everybody, get ready. We're going to date this particular show as the ending of the month of July in the Northern Hemisphere, which means it's deep in summer. We're just a few days short of the middle of the summer. So it's, even though it may be hot where everybody is, unless you're up in Seattle, but it is so beautiful because it's summertime. So the whole discussion today is going to be about summer fun. F-U-N-N. Fun. That's my 4-letter F-U word that I tell people when we do my podcast. The 4-letter F-U word is F-U, capital N, capital N. So we are going to mention a number of different things, and I'm going to sing the refrain that goes through my mind all the time. We're in this unique season, which is, we'll have fun, fun, fun till her daddy takes a T-bird away. So if you don't know that song or the way I sang it, go and do a search, because we have a lot of people who are under the age of 35 who have no idea what I just was talking about. And the reason I'm mentioning is twofold. Number one, it's a great song. It's a lot of fun. And number two, because I did have a girlfriend whose father did give her a T-bird. And we had a lot of fun with the T-bird until he did take it away. Actually, that was another reason. It was fun, but he didn't take it away for the whole rest of her life, just for a month or so. But we did have a T-bird, and it was great. And we were living the life. It was absolutely tremendous. And I will say right now, we are living the life because we have some of the most dynamic, beautiful, bountiful, beneficent, munificent, magnificent people on this particular podcast that are going to share with us these ideas that revolve around marriage with joy. Notice I didn't say marriage with joy. Marriage with joy. And I'm going to wax a little bit eloquent at the beginning of the show because I am animated, as you can see and feel. Let me do one thing right here. I'm animated. I'm feeling very peckish and puckish. I did my swim today. It was 106 degrees outside, and the water is 79, 80, and life is wonderful because we don't have humidity. Woo, that's very nice. The other piece I want to mention is that I've been thinking a lot about this for the past week or more as we approach our time together. And that is the not just the idea, the important reality of marriage with joy and what it does to the physical, mental, spiritual well-being of both partners in the marriage. Now, I'm thinking specifically, by the way, about women. Obviously, I think about men too. However, I'm thinking more about women right now because it happens to be that in the past 10 days, I came upon, had my eyes open, but I wasn't searching. I had my eyes open, and I came upon 2 interesting studies that were done over the past 2 or 3 years, specifically about married women vis-a-vis single women. And the reason I think the studies are being done is because there is this movement, especially among women, to delay marriage and delay, if not postpone, having children. And what that does physiologically, mentally, spiritually, and of course it affects the man as well. However, I think the woman is more the key, the hinge of the great door that's called life. And that's because I know my wife for 49 years of marriage and such. And if it wasn't for her, first of all, I'd just be protoplasm. And number two, it is the woman who doesn't just build the home, it's the entire fragrance, as it were, of what the home is. And I'm going to make mention of two things, and then we'll go right to some questions and such. But I want to keep it a bit light, even though we start off on this leg. I want to keep it a bit light and ask everybody to focus on something really special and wonderful that's happening for you and the family and your friends during this summertime. In other words, is it barbecue? Is it boating? Is it just laying in the backyard and just being with people? What is it about this summertime that is really contributing to your well-being? Because that's what summer does. I think one of the interesting reasons that people think they want to do away with daylight savings time is because the idea of more sunshine appeals to people, right? Hello. It, of course, depends where you live. If you live in Southern California, Florida, and Nevada, well, that's great because why not? It's just more sun. If you live in upstate Washington or in New York or other places where the sun may not rise till 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning, and it's dark, and people, okay, there's all kinds of issues. Leave that aside. For the moment, it's summertime, fun time. What are you doing? Let me read to you two interesting pieces, actually maybe three. And the first one is, this is something called the Institute for Family Studies. I don't know the origin of it. I don't know much more about it, but it's called the Institute for Family Studies. And it was published in one of the online journals that I get. And the beginning of the study says the following: married women live longer, earn more, and report more meaningful lives compared with single women. Just telling you what I read. You know, was I happy to read it? Oh, yes, because I agree with it. However, it's very interesting that there was a study and that somebody's willing to publish it. And no matter what, you can argue, yes, no, maybe then what the sample is, I don't know. But I found it very interesting in the sense that it mentioned three particular areas. Number one, living longer, because let's be blunt, everybody wants to live as long as possible in a healthy way. It's not just living longer. If you're going to be 103, but you can't function, well, that's not what we call great living. However, if you can be 103 and you're still swimming a mile a day, my dream, then okay, that's an interesting way of living longer, earning more. Because again, the myth is, well, if you're a married woman, you're not going to make as much money. Well, you're going to earn more. And it says also here, report more meaningful lives. Now, I don't think any one of the people here on the panel would disagree with that. I mean, that's part of our MO, is that we believe firmly, no way to know for every individual, of course, that it's more meaningful to live in a marriage context than not. Okay. That was one. The other one was more anecdotal and was very interesting because it was an interview with a 102-year-old woman. 102-year-old woman. By the way, I am also privileged to tell you, in my book called The Joy of Living, 11 Strategies to Learning How to Live in Joy Daily, I mentioned in there because I merited to be with a woman that I met at the age of 95. Not me, she. She was 95 when I met her. And I swam with her and worked with her and shared with her for 11 years until she was 106. She passed away at 106, and she was cogent. When I went over to sing happy birthday to her, which I had been doing for the previous 11 years, when I came in, she recognized me and says, "Barry, sing me a song," which I did dutifully. And she loved it. Her name is Aida. It was. So here's a 102-year-old woman who was, interesting enough, married for 78 years, says the interviewer, and asked key question. I mean, they asked a number of questions, but the key question is, what would you do differently today? knowing what you've done over 78 years of marriage, which is, let's be blunt, a long time. Here's her answer: I would have forgiven him faster. I think forgiveness is a very important aspect of life. I think even more so in a marriage, what we'll call the closest relations possible. And I'll mention one other piece is that we make cards, all kinds of cards. We have the Keep Smiling card. Then I tell you how much I appreciate you. I'm interesting. We have a card that's called Be the First. That's the front. And on the back it reads, Be the first to apologize. That's the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. The first to forget is the happiest. So all in line with my world. So I found those two items of particular interest since we are dealing with marriage with joy. We all believe and we espouse and we urge people. There is no greater opportunity to have joy in your own life than by being married and sharing. If you can have a marriage where the two people involved, and God willing, the extended family, is involved with living life well, forgiving, even forgetting sometimes, then I believe that it goes a long way towards living longer, better, more fulfilled, and the opposite doesn't, it just doesn't compute, right? Why would you do that? Okay, so back to my girlfriend Carol and her daddy with the T-Bird, and we're tooling around and having a great time. I'm all of, maybe I was 18, maybe she was 17, and it was all the stuff that you hear in those songs is all true. It was great. Fun beyond understanding. Okay, we're going to begin, of course, with our leadoff batter, the most wonderful, amazing, indomitable, inimitable, loving, love-filled Dr. Diane Madvad up in Seattle, which even now is filled with sunshine and glory and life. So, Diane, please, let's talk about what you're doing in the summertime and specifically fun-oriented.
Well, I have to say that the seasons are more pronounced in the Northwest, and in the winter, it gets light with daylight savings time changing back and forth at 8 a.m. And should we keep daylight savings time all year, it would not get light until 9 a.m. And that would mean my circadian rhythm would be very unhappy. It is a joy for me to have summertime and wake up to daylight. Just the daylight, it tells my body time to appreciate life. And that is wonderful. And the more daylight I have, the more time I have to be in nature. And that is one of the things that I find most invigorating about this time of year is that we can go hiking, I live in a rainy climate. And so I can't do this a lot of the but in the summertime, they say there's two seasons in Seattle, August and the rainy season. And so I feel so happy when August and when it's summertime and when I can go out and be in nature and not be wet, not to worry. This morning I went for a hike to Twin Falls and it was beautiful. And it's just to be in nature reminds you that God made the world. And in a sense, the idea that God is always there and bigger than you and has wisdom that you can't possibly have is reassuring. And also, it helps you do the things that you mentioned, Barry. I think the first study is actually explained by the second study. People who forgive and who are not quick to get angry. Anger is the most destructive emotion. And Jewish people are told not to even have it, if at all possible. And so if we can just veer toward appreciating and not even, as a psychologist, I worked with a lot of people in marital problems. And one of the things I found most useful is, you talk about forgiving, but before you have to forgive, then you have to get angry. And that's one thing you don't have to do. And I used to try and talk about the idea that people can put up a rubber bumper around their feelings where negativity can bounce off before it penetrates. And I think in a marriage, the really good marriages are ones where you know underneath that the other person is on your team, is your friend, wants your benefit, has the same goals as you, and therefore that allows you to interpret things that other people might see as an insult or a problem of some kind. You can interpret that in the best light. Dan Lakaf Zachut is the Jewish phrase, which means judge for the best. And if you can judge your partner in everything that he or she does for the best, then you can appreciate it for its intent rather than taking an insult. That doesn't have to do with summer. That has to do with all.
Well, actually, that does have to do with summer, because summer is about expansion. It's about light, as you mentioned. And I want to just applaud, because we have so many great phrases that come out of each one of you. I love this. I see it. The rubber bumpers. I mean, who doesn't like going to an amusement park, even if they just set up, helter skelter, and ride the bumping cars, right? I mean, are they not fun?
But this is a good example, Barry, because bumper cars hit each other, and someone. Right. A hit as something negative. What? You're coming in to smash me? What? But people in that context see it as fun. And the rubber bumpers allow them to take something that could be seen as negative and interpret it as fun and happiness. So I think in a marriage that works a lot of the time.
I love it. It was beautiful. And especially if you see kids, by the way, running onto these bumper cars and with glee bumping into somebody else, knowing they're bumping it and not able, everybody knows you're not able to cause hurt. You can get the thrill of bump, but you're not going to cause hurt. What a wonderful way to envision the person that you love or you want to love, you want to be with. So our acronym for team, because as you mentioned, the person's on your team, stands for Together Everyone Achieves Miracles. Because I will say, as a man married 49 years, it is a miracle to be married, stay married, and be married in the sense of not the opposite of drudgery. It's encouraging. It's invigorating. As you said, people are on your team. Well, that's a great situation. It's so uplifting. You don't have to get up and face the world alone. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, so nature, God, well, those are great things to talk about during the summer. How about you, wonderful Maura? You have to unmute, and then so we can hear you.
I was unmuting my picture instead of where I was. Barry, I have to tell you, you did your, what was it, the sound effect?
Yes.
Do you remember which one you did? Do it again, because I'll tell you what I heard. It goes with today. Guess what I heard? Maybe some people here remember or mature enough to remember. It sounds like Beach Blanket Bingo movie from the 1960s. What was it? Annette Funicello and Bobby Darin. That's exactly what I heard. Kind of cute for your theme. All right. So what's good about summer? Is that the question?
Yeah. What are you doing to use summer?
Diane just commented on weather in Seattle. Florida is very different from living up north or even Seattle. We are out when the rest of the country is in. We are literally out. Everybody's out doing everything because the weather is glorious. In the middle of the summer, the weather is not just hot, but it's humid. And so, lately we've been looking at like 109. I know, Barry, you said your temperatures are hot. Ours have been hotter, but that has not stopped us. So what can I say? I wrote down several things. We've done beach walking early in the morning before we feel like we might drop from the heat. It's wonderful. The beaches on the west coast of Florida. Plus, we're not really big time crowd people. There's a quiet beach around here, and if you get there early enough, you get parking right where you want it, and the beach, it's glorious. So that's a fun thing to do. Um, we took a New Jersey trip by car, eh, and we did cousins reunion, classmates reunion. My husband just had his 50th from high school, sports team reunion. So we had so much fun getting together with a plethora of different kinds of people and friends from, I want to say, where we all grew up. That was fun. And then on the way back, well, up and back, we stopped at Charleston, South Carolina, because we love history. We stopped at Savannah, Georgia, because we love history. And what else do I want to say? Oh, because of the heat in our case. My husband does not go to the movies, but I'll go with girlfriends. And we go because it's Florida in the summer and it's cheap. We'll go to the matinees. And that has been a great way of saying, like, we're going to get an afternoon siesta when nobody could come out. And
and it's air conditioned.
it is. And then I would say also early morning or after dinner walks around the downtown near the water, because we have the beach, but we also have Tampa Bay. And I might as well announce, since this is marriage webinar, Ginny and I, on the 24th of July, celebrated our 45th wedding anniversary.
Well,
You're gonna ask what we did? Nothing. No, we will do our 45th. So anyway, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, in one more year we'll be together for 50 years because we dated all through college and a year after that. But in our case, we'll probably end up going away. We're not big party people, but we will do what we love, and we're going to drive up to the panhandle of Florida and visit like Rosemary Beach and so. Where was that movie Truman Show filmed? Do you remember the name of it? It looked fake. It's a real place. And we're going to go visit that. So we've had a lot of good things, but it's funny, no matter where you live or what the circumstances are in life, you kind of just adjust and find things that make you happy.
So talk about happy together. The idea of reunions in the summertime works for everybody, right?
It was
Very few people are going to have reunions around January, February, no matter where you live, especially if you live someplace where it's going to snow. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Actually, my high school is having a reunion in November. I don't know why, but I'm not going. It doesn't matter. But however, to have a reunion with different things, sports teams, people, et cetera, and people marveling at each other saying, oh, you're still alive. That's very nice. Well, when you get to a certain age, if you have a reunion and you're 28, okay, that's cool. You have a reunion and you're over the age of, then it's, well, you're still here and you got your teeth and it's worked great. Okay.
oh my
I
gosh.
wanted to mention, I love the idea, not just the idea, the reality of beach walking. And I'll say it because Lori's going to talk about maybe, because she lives right near the beach. And Diane and Diane and Michael, and my wife and I, we live by the beach in one of the most majestic places in the world, Venice Beach, Santa Monica. It is truly a remarkable place to be. And it was, when you go in the right times, it's really fun. There are a few things more wonderful than listening to waves, right? It's just, now I will tell you one quick funny story, just I mentioned it to myself. So Diane, I'll mention, we had friends, it was the Strites. So in the Strites, before they moved from where they were, they lived up in the Palisades, way up in the hills of the Palisades. And they had this magnificent home that overlooked the ocean. And I said to our mutual friend, Arik, what is it you like the most about it? He said, well, let me tell you something I don't like. It was sort of tongue in cheek, but he said, it was amazing. Here we are up high. They were maybe 300 feet up, and gorgeous, big home and beautiful balcony. You have to keep your doors, everything in the house closed. And you got to keep air conditioning on. You know why? If you leave the doors open, you think, oh, I want to hear the ocean at night. He said it would drive you crazy. The, the waves are not calming in the sense they're going to put you to sleep. He said, I couldn't sleep. Here you are, you're this majestic, wonderful, amazing. So you never know about stuff. However, to go walking on the beach is one of the most wonderful things in the world because you get your toes in the sand. And then you get maybe to go in the water a little bit, even if you only get the water up to your ankles or maybe your calves. It's just few things could be nicer. Now, I will mention also that you went to Charleston. Charleston, South Carolina is a remarkably beautiful, amazing city with a rich history, and certainly a rich history for all Americans. It has a difficult history vis-a-vis Black Americans because there were big slave markets there. It has a rich history because that's where the Civil War began. The crazies really, they started the Civil War by Charleston Harbor by firing on Fort Sumter. Didn't have to, but they felt they did. And they thought they could win. They were insane, much like there's a lot of people in America today who are insane with wild ideas. Well, we're not going to go into our politics anymore, but keep it fun in summertime. However, Charleston is a remarkable place because it was bringing people in since the 17th century. I don't mean slaves, I mean people. Before slaves came in, there were just people there. And it was one of the first cities in the Western Hemisphere that welcomed Jewish people. There's a great synagogue in Charleston that goes back, I think, to the late 1700s. It had an organ. It was very interesting. I was fascinated to go visit and such like that. So yes, Charleston has a remarkable feel to it as a real interesting city. It's been around for hundreds of years. Now I say that coming from Boston. I was born and raised in a place with cobblestones. Literally, when I was growing up, now they still have some of it, just have to keep it for the tourists. When I was growing up, the cobblestones weren't there just for the tourists. They were still there. Nobody ripped them out. Some crazy person ended up ripping out the cobblestones at some point just because, well, we got to pave over and such. Then they realized, wait a minute, tourism is worth more than having these streets and such like that. Okay, so Charleston is a remarkably beautiful place with such a rich history of feeling that the passions of life, especially in the summertime. Wonderful. Fabulous, Lori. Now, are you in Southern California or are you someplace else right now?
I'm in Southern California.
Okay. So tell us what it's like living by the beach in Southern California right now.
There's nothing like it. I got all my doors open, windows with no screens, and I have no bugs. I can't hear the ocean. I'm 12 blocks away, but it's
that makes a difference.
I will never leave here, ever.
I want to interrupt for one point. Lori just said it glibly, but I want to emphasize something he said. Tell us again, no bars on your windows.
No screens.
No screens.
Screens.
Oh, but you do have bars.
No.
No. Okay, good. No screens because no bugs.
No bugs.
No bars because of no human bugs.
I don't live in Hollywood.
Right.
I live at the beach. We don't pay for parking. It's free to park at the mall and the doctor's office. It's lovely. It's wonderful.
It is idyllic, even amidst the politics of Southern California.
Yeah, I think we're in a bubble. People down here just live happy. There's not a lot of sadness down here.
No.
It's a wonderful place to live, and I'm eternally grateful. However, I think I told you last time we got together that we had a little flood in our house.
Yes.
Did I tell you guys about that? And
tell us again.
So Father's Day, my son fell in the shower, landed on his back, and covered the grate so that all the water fell out over, and he was knocked out for 5 hours.
Oh, you didn't tell us 5 hours.
Yeah, it was a long time. But the point is, I planned on staying home all summer to have fun and do great things and have, Friday night parties. And the plans got switched. And so my son had planned on traveling. So I didn't stay home. I mean, I've stayed home, but it's a different summer and he's not traveling. So he's home. So it's just him and I, and everyone else is gone. So the positive about this is it's just him and I. And it's been so nice. And we've bonded so much. He was on a bike Saturday riding around with his friends and he fell, his tire exploded, and he broke his clavicle.
What?
I know we've been back and forth in the hospital.
Wait a minute. Let's put a pause. First of all, the good news is that your son is what, 22?
19.
19. Okay, even better. 19 can heal from almost anything.
Yes. So we are working on all this. But yesterday we were at the doctor's office and his phone died and my phone died. And we had to wait an hour and a half. And he just was talking to me and I was talking to him.
Wait a minute. I need to interrupt again. We're talking about two human beings who actually are related to each other, who are now speaking to each other. The good news is because they don't have the phones, because if they did have the phones, they would not be speaking to each other. They would have been distracted, even though mom might have said, son, let's talk. Yeah, mom. Okay. Distracted. The big D is one of the most difficult aspects of modern living. And you're saying you had the great grace of the Lord to be blessed, to have time to speak to each other.
Trapped in a room at the doctor's office, waiting. He was so behind. And we sat there and we, at one point I was getting up, making noises. I mean, we just were laughing. It was so much fun. And, I think about that and I'm like, this isn't the summer I'm expecting, and it's not the summer he's expecting, but I've cooked for him and we've made different foods and I have contractors walking in and out. This is his bedroom. And he used to tell me, don't go in my bedroom. And now I have nowhere else to go. And I just walk in and he just doesn't even think twice. So he and I are like, because it's just me and him since Father's Day. So we're just like, it's been wonderful.
So summer, first of all, summer has been good to you, right?
In the way you wouldn't expect. I couldn't have asked for this.
Right. Oh, very good. Right.
Because
if you had asked for it, it wouldn't have happened. Let's be honest. So wait a minute. This is summer music. That's very summer. And I do remember summer times at the beach with bongos. That's another story. Okay. So here it is. Two people who are in the same family who may not have had the opportunity to speak to each other, and now, because of circumstance, are communicating and making this unique time called summer, which has a whole feel to it, doesn't it? I mean, think about it. Summertime in Southern California by the beach. I mean, if you had to have a list of things called heaven, I think those would be amongst them.
Yes. Okay. So here's what happened. We went to this glorious time. Then he drove us home from the hospital. It was in Santa Monica. So it was like a 45-minute drive, which is more time. Our phones were dead. We didn't have a plug. So we get back to our area. He's like, I'm starving. Let's eat there. So we walk into this sandwich shop and he sees two friends that he knows. He goes, oh, this is my mom. I'm like, hi. So the friends go and sit down and my son walks over and starts talking to them. Well, it was a 4-top table, so I pulled out a chair and I sat down. And my son looks at me and goes, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he goes, like, get up. We're not sitting here with these people. And I was like, we went to a different table and I'm like, bye, nice meeting you. And there was no one there. So it was so awkward. We're at another table. And I'm like, what's the problem? He goes, they don't want to sit with my mom. And I was like, okay, we've had the best day. But let's get perspective on this. I am still his mother in front of his friends. No talking to her.
Okay. So he's still a real guy.
Yeah, he's back.
Right.
He's still a teenager.
Oh, that's it. He's still a teenager. Okay, very nice. So tell me, are other members of the family coming back for at any time in the summer?
Yes. My husband's coming home. He's been in and out going back to State College. So he'll be here in a couple of days. My daughter comes in on Tuesday. But tonight, I was going to tell you, what I do, work really hard in the day. Diane, my book is coming out soon. We need to talk. I got questions. Diane wrote a book called The Case Against Divorce. which I was thinking about it when she was talking, and I'm like, that still must be selling. Is it still selling, Diane?
Yeah. And I also wrote one called Don't Divorce.
I remember that. But the one that I didn't read that one. I read the first one, and that was very powerful. I love that. I think I still have it here somewhere.
Thank you.
I don't talk about it enough, but I need to maybe do something with you to get that out again, because it was pivotal to me. I remember it. What was I going to say?
Your
Anyway,
your book is coming out.
So I got a lot of things to do, but what is I going to say? My husband's coming home. My son's coming home. Everyone will be here, and I'm supposed to go do book stuff, but we'll all be here very soon. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I write during the day. I work during the day. I talk to my students during the day. But at night, I'm like, who wants to walk? Who wants to go to the beach? Who wants to go do karaoke? Who wants to go out for pizza? Who wants to ride a bike? I make sure in the summer, in the evenings, I am out of the house with my son, walking, doing anything. But that's hard because TV calls you, sitting on the couch calls you. So you got to like really say to yourself, where am I going? So tonight I'm going to go do karaoke, and I'm inviting people I haven't seen in years. So it's a summer day at the beach.
This is so wonderful. Inviting people that you haven't seen in years is a wonderful thing. Just because, and again, this is very summer. This is what happens in summer. And by the way, let's be blunt. If you're at the beach, you haven't seen people would say, wait a minute, I want to go to the beach. Oh, I see Lori also. Okay, fine. But it's nice to go to the beach because the beach has its own ambiance, its own attraction. Again, it's the water, it's the sound, it's the sand. Even if it doesn't matter if you're blocks away, no screens in Southern California because no bugs. I'm going to say it again, no bugs. So I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, and I can tell you something. Unless you had screens and really tiny ones, there were bugs, I can still even hear a mosquito in my head at night, even though I haven't seen them in decades, because they were just so annoying. That's just the nature of life when you're living in a place with bugs. Diane, do you have bugs up in your area?
Not many, no.
Okay, good. Okay, but however, in Southern California, and by the way, I assume also maybe in Florida, in Henderson, we don't. Oh, you have bugs. Uh-huh. Okay. But in Henderson, we don't have bugs. And it is really, it's a delight. It's hot, but however, it's no humidity or very little, tiny amount. Okay. So thank you for that. I love the idea of seeing people you haven't seen in years and doing these, anything to do with corn on the cob, watermelon, barbecue. Your mouth just waters just thinking about this kind of stuff, and the ability to share food, laughter, friendship. Yes, one more thing.
I've always wanted to start a garden, but I'm always traveling. And this year I said I'm going to start a garden. I have. And what's fascinating is in the morning I walk out there and I look and I see, oh my gosh, this grew since last night. And there's food coming off these plants, which I think is just crazy because I grew up in Chicago. We didn't have that. But here you can grow your own food and eat it. I just think it's amazing. It's like so simple, but it's like so cool. Anyway, I'm on.
Okay. Let's mention that for a moment because there are a few things that you can try and grow. If you're trying to grow strawberries, you might get one strawberry out of 50. You're trying to grow raspberries, which I've done both of these, you might get one out of 100. You grow cucumbers, you got a good shot of getting cucumbers, lots of them. And squash, wow, they just grow. So, grow things that are easy. And as you said, Lori, the ability to put a seed in the ground. Now, we have a phrase, Diane loves to quote different phrases in Hebrew. There's a beautiful phrase, 4 words that we say in the morning before we say the creed, which is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. We say these 4 words, which I've been meditating on for the past number of months. And the Hebrew words are Zorei and Tzedakos, Matzmiach Yeshuos. And it's exactly what Lori just said, except she said it in English. So Raya Tzedakah goes, you plant righteousness. And the result is benefit, salvation, which is what you're talking about. We call it food. Food is both physical, spiritual, and mental. Again, when you see, as Diane said, what does she love? Nature, because she sees God is real. Right there. Stuff, waterfall, hiking, anything. Putting a seed in the ground and have a plant come up gives one pause. Why? Because what has to happen to a seed when you put it in the ground? It literally has to die. A seed is encased. When you put it in the earth, you know what the earth does to the seed? It destroys it. The seed has to literally die to be uncased. And then what has to happen? It has to come up through the earth, which is dark. So again, in Jewish tradition, we say that the good Lord does resurrection on a regular basis. We go to sleep and now you wake up and all those things. Why? It's like the seeds. You go into a dark place and then it comes up and it breaks through. Imagine a plant breaking through earth. Hello, we all, don't you marvel when you see walk on the sidewalk and you see a little shoot come up? How does that happen? How does a piece of plant come up through concrete? Not possible. It's beyond understanding. The power. So when you plant food, you are literally saying, I believe that there is a creator, that there is nourishment in the world. And if I can do this with a seed and bring up a squash and eat it, well, look what I can do when I plant goodness, when I plant righteousness, when you make a relationship with your son, with your daughter, with your children, grandchildren. The result of that is plants that may take years to flourish. And yet you're talking about eternity. So I'm speaking about eternity. Well, almost close. So there's a movie that I'd like to recommend to everybody that was made 60 years ago. I mean, come on, Barry. The movie is called Endless Summer. Now, if you haven't heard of it or you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor. Just do whatever you need to do to search and find out wherever these things are. It's probably online. If it isn't, you pay for it, whatever it is. Endless Summer is one of the most lush, beautiful movies that has ever been made because it follows two surfers who go around the world catching summer wherever they go. So right now it's summer for us, right? And it's winter in Australia. Well, when it gets to be close to winter here, it's summer. And so they go to South Africa and Australia. But it's about meeting people and the music is luscious and it's good, clean, loving, uplifting, life affirming. It's the Endless Summer. Again, made in 1966. So how many years ago is that? It's 60 years ago. And it still works today. Because again, it's planting goodness, harvesting benefit for everybody. The whole point of surfing, by the way, and I have a friend, actually a wonderful, amazing man. I'm going to actually see if we can invite him onto the podcast, if you would, ladies would agree. His name is Sean Thompson. And he still is, but at the time, he was the first world champion surfer. Comes from South Africa. And he's just an amazing guy. He lives in Santa Barbara now. If you're going to live someplace, Santa Barbara is as nice as place you can live. Is that fair to say? Right? And again, great guy who's been through stuff in his life. His son died too young. I mean, but he has gone out and created programs for people to break through their own issues because he likens surfing to life. And it's just It's life affirming. It's so wonderful. So I'm only mentioning, am I a surfer? No. Do I like surfers? Yes. I hung around with a lot of surfers. Coming from Massachusetts, there wasn't, although I had a friend growing up in Boston who always talked to us about surfing. We said, yeah, where are you going to go surfing here? You know, you get the Atlantic Ocean, it's cold and such that. Well, he left as soon as he could. He was 16. He hitched across America, hitchhiked in those days. You could do that. That's 60, 70 years ago. And he came to California to live on the beach. And he did. And it's just amazing. And okay, so many stories. Anyway, The Endless Summer is a remarkably wonderful, life-affirming, loving movie that I urge everybody to get some sort of piece to. So again, everything we're talking about today has to do with fun, with creating relationships, with building on what you have, making sure that everything is in your life, as Diane said, these rubber bumpers, you know, and the ability to forgive happens more readily if you avoid anger. In the word anger is very interesting, as we all know, A-N-G-E-R, you have the word rage. And sometimes that's what happens with anger. If you don't watch it, it can go into rage. And if you have rage, it destroys oneself, relationships with other people, a marriage. As I mentioned in the very beginning, this 102-year-old woman was interviewed. I would forgive faster. So for today, we're going to wrap up our show. I would like to do one thing, with your permission, my wonderful, beloved friends, and that is we'll do what we call a lightning round. 2 minutes each to say anything you want to say about summer, fun, life, joy, happiness, peace. Diane, we ask you to begin. Yeah.
Minutes. One of the things that my husband and I do, because we have such wonderful light here, it stays light until 10 o'clock, at least 9:30, 10 o'clock. I love it. So we make sure that we go out and we watch the sunset. And we go to a park and we watch the sunset. And it's such a privilege to be able to do that together. We have a full day. We do whatever we have to do. He does a radio show. I go out with people and create things or whatever. But we're together. We have a time that we come together and we go to Groveland Beach and we watch the sun go down, or we go to Luther Burbank Park and we watch, and there's always people who come right at that moment who gather to see the sun go down, and they're all phones out and they're all because why? The conclusion to the day is significant and it's beautiful. Why not have something beautiful to look forward to in your day? And if you can do that with your spouse, then it gives you a time that you have set aside to be together and to talk and to reflect and to appreciate the outdoors together. And it brings, I don't know why, but a sunset tends to bring you closer. So that would be my suggestion is, and I appreciate my husband, Michael, for doing this with me, going out at sunset.
Thank you. Thank you. Love it. Maura, give us 2 minutes of you.
Me. All right. Because it's summertime, I probably think this way all year, but I'm going to say when it is summer, it's a different season and people are expected to reflect, to take time to relax, to consider it, go back to school, summer break, right? And so I would wake up in the morning oftentimes and say, what can I do today that I normally wouldn't? I don't want to say allow myself. What can I do today that I normally wouldn't think about? What's something different to make this day special because it is summer? And, you know, to have your awareness open like that means there's a lot of new things you could do that normally in the course of life you wouldn't. So that's maybe I would say advice for the morning. In the afternoon, funny, we live, because we're on the West Coast, well, whatever, Florida, we're across the street from Tampa Bay. We get all of the morning rising of the sun. because of where we're located. And the evening sun will set on the Gulf, which we don't always do. But the thing we do, and it's wonderful, is after dinner, my husband, probably an old thing that he learned from Trenton, New Jersey, all the old people would go out and he would call it the Passaggio. And I think that was the Italian section of Trenton, New Jersey. And we will go out on the main street, probably less than 2 miles away, where there's restaurants, everybody's outside, we've got the water nearby, and we know so many people. So it is like kind of like stepping back into the old days, very simple, very familiar, and there's always people we meet. So it's not formal, it's informal. We spend time together. It's something we could do before we come back, maybe watch an episode of some spy novel or something on TV. And then we have a chance to informally get together with other people from every background that we may know for various reasons. And Diane, you were talking a lot about nature and even putting things into the ground. I think some of the happiest things about life are some of the simplest things. And what we do when we go for evening walks, it's just like what Jimmy remembers the quote unquote old people used to do back in the 60s when he was growing up in Trenton. It's friendly, it's sweet, it's kind, it's neighborly. So those are my 2 minutes or my 2 cents for this session.
Okay. There's a song about old folks that I can't just remember, Chuck Berry song. It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well. You never heard that song?
I bet I would recognize if I heard it.
Look it up. I think it's Chuck Berry.
Yeah, it sounds like
Okay, wonderful, Lori. You have your 2 minutes, please.
Okay, I've got 2 things to say. My husband called me the other day and was reminding me of how lucky we are and that I make a great teammate. So no matter all the stuff that's happening over here, he's back home in the other house, and he's telling me that, you know what, you're doing good, and I'm so glad we're a team, which I thought was really cool. And on Sunday, when I went to church, the priest who'd had a near-death experience years ago was talking about it again, saying after his mom died and after he had this experience, he was sitting in his mom's chair, looking around at all the shit in her house, and he's like, none of this stuff matters. None of this stuff we all buy and put all over our house, none of it matters. The only thing that matters is you and me. That's it.
Wait a minute. Your husband said that to you?
No, the priest at church.
Oh, okay. Close
I segued real quick.
Very nice. Very nice.
The only thing that matters is human connection, not our stuff.
That's it. And that's the genius of summer. Summer is that time, those long days. In August, there's the longest days coming up. Actually, we had the longest day, but the point is that summer feels long and that you can just embrace it and be embraced by it. It's like God caressing your cheek. Woo! Well, I must say it's been an absolute pleasure and a delight to be together, kids, today. You're wonderful. We love you. And everybody's watching always sends comments, and we will have this posted on Spotify, Apple, and we'll tell everybody to go out and urge their friends to listen and share, and we'll keep it all going because it's a wonderful time. We love romping in the summer. So we'll see you in next month. So we'll do a group hug and a blessing. Ready? And hug, remember, stands for heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. And our blessing from wonderful Diane, Maura, and Lori, and me. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Welcome to Marriage with Joy, which is the most open discussion on the internet about the positive, purposeful, powerful, pleasant aspects of living in harmony with matrimony. Marriage with Joy unabashedly discusses the most interesting questions raised by listeners. Our informed and informative panel addresses issues with thought, wit, and aplomb. Voted best of the web 2 years running.